Rick,
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Hari Hari.
Haribo.
So how is everybody doing today?
Good.
We've got a nice group here. The Knoxville devotees have showed up, and we're going to have a class on how to change your inner world. I'm talking about how to change your inner world because sometimes we want to change our world. You know, things aren't happening around us the way we want them to. So, what was it that Gandhi said? Be the change that you want to see in the world. You want to see a change in the world? Start with you. You be that change. So, for us to change, if we're going to have an impact in changing the world, we have to change. And that starts on the inside. We have to change our inner. And so that takes some austerities. You know, it's not like it's just going to happen. It's not going to just fall out of the sky. Hare Krishna. So we're going to have to work hard. It's going to be an austerity. So stop me as usual at any time with questions or comments.
Just a little 2 minutes into this. I will take a minute to just introduce you, Prabhu.
Oh, okay.
Thank you all for joining today. Thank you for so we have Jivananda Prabhu, who is a disciple of and long back in 70s, he used to have a center from his home. He used to be in Knoxville. He used to teach from there. But later he went to Dallas, and now he is based in Tucson, Arizona. And he has been coming for more than a decade now.
Yeah, like 12, 13 years, I think, something like that.
Yeah. And he's traveling for helping us out, talking about the spirituality and how we can use Krishna consciousness to make our family life peaceful and basically professional life, family life, and spiritual life. The tripod has to be stable. And Prabhu has always been, all these kids actually, we have now that is not there, but most of the kids actually have been, they have been raised under his direction. He always has been there. Thank you all for that.
I think Russ Keeley was 5 years old when I met you, wasn't he? So now, what are you, 37? She's 17 going on 37, right? So, all grown up. I don't know. Maybe we never grow up, do we? We're all a work in progress. So, so these austerities, things that we have to work on if we're going to change us. We're creatures of habit. We get in the habit of doing things. I know I am. A certain time every day. We have a routine. Even if we're disorganized, we have some sort of a routine that we follow. You see? So, at least for me, I know maybe it applies to some of you too, but at least for me to change a routine is very difficult. Employers have wondered for many years, and they've spent millions of dollars trying to find out how long does it take to get a new employee up and running. So in other words, how do you change someone's routine by giving them a new routine? And they came up with, on average, it takes 21 days for you to create a habit. So if we get a new employee and we teach them, okay, first you do this and then you do that, and it's going to take on average 21 days for them to get that etched in their subconscious mind so that they won't have to look and maybe ask somebody, you see. And so 3 weeks it takes us to change our routine, get something new in our routine. So it's like if you theoretically, and it's pretty much true. If you get up at the same time every day for 3 weeks, then on the 22nd day, typically, that's going to be in your subconscious. If you eat at a certain time every day for 21 days, the 22nd day, actually it happens before. It starts to get etched in your subconscious mind. So we have to get our new habits, our new ways of doing things. It takes trying hard. It takes an austerity, you see. So if we're going to change our inner self, how do we do that? Well, it's going to take austerities of the body. What we do, it's austerities of the body, austerities of speech. I've talked to a lot of people. I remember talking to professional people years ago, and they were saying, I'm trying to clean up my language. You know, I'm using too many swear words, but it's just a habit, you see. So it's an austerity of speech is to speak properly. Don't say use improper language. That's one thing. So in austerities of the body, speech, and of the mind, we have to do austerities of the mind. So how do we do this? Boy, this sounds tough. You don't have a degree in this field, do you? I mean, who does? There's so many degrees in this room. You see, I'm not saying it's hot either. It's that there's a lot of degrees in here. So, but who has training in this? Where do we get this wisdom? Well, there's a book called Bhagavad Gita that has all the wisdom that you need to live a wonderful life and ultimately go back home, back to Godhead, to find God, to find yourself. Because as you find yourself, you're finding Krishna. As you're finding Krishna, you're finding yourself. The two go hand in hand because you are part and parcel of Krishna. So everything that you need to know to be a success, and I'm defining success, is getting off the merry-go-round of birth, death, disease, old age, followed by birth, death, disease, old age, followed by birth, death, reincarnation. How do we escape this perpetual machine that we're caught in, birth after birth? And how do we know when we leave this body, what kind of body we'll take? There's 8,400,000 species. What is my guarantee that I won't take the body of a snake?
Consciousness.
Huh? Consciousness. Where do I get this knowledge of what kind of consciousness do I need so that I don't become a snake in my next lifetime and crawl across the porch out here and scare everybody? There was this big snake. It's like, how long would you say that snake was? Maybe 6 feet? It was big. I think it was a king snake. So, I don't want to be a king snake. I don't want to be a cricket. I don't want this, any one of these bodies. Do you want to take a body of a human being? Well, then you've got what's guaranteed? If you take birth, what's an absolute guarantee? Death. Death isn't fun. I don't know of anybody that's ever said, man, I just can't wait. I mean, some people think I have to end it all because my life is so terrible, but how many people will look at you and say, man, I think this is going to be great to die. So you got birth. Everything that takes birth dies. And in between, disease is guaranteed. Guaranteed. How much? We don't know. But if you escape disease, if you minimize disease and you're after your birth, you live a really healthy life, you go to the gym and work out, breathe really clean air, eat really good food, drink pure water. What do you get? What's the reward?
Only.
Old age. That's not a bargain. You know, old age isn't fun. We'll agree on that, won't we?
Yes.
So I don't recommend old age to any of my friends. But I guess it's better than death, you know? So we want to escape this. So I need a particular, who teaches you this? What course do you take? What college do you go to? You know? You've got to find somebody who knows this science.
Reminds me of Bhishma.
Oh, yeah.
Bhishma lived a long, long life. He was old, but he had this boon that he can die whenever he wishes. You know, before that, death will not come to him.
Right.
But he was very old when he died. He had seen 4 generations of people next to him.
Yeah, and he decided when he wanted to die. He wanted to die looking at Krishna. You see. So where do we go to get this kind of knowledge? To escape birth, disease, old age, death. You have to go to Gita wisdom. You have to go to the Shastra. You have to go to Guru. You have to associate with sadhus, those who know this. You see, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, those are our sources of information. Now, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra may not teach you how to be a computer scientist. Okay? So I'm not saying don't go to college, go to your guru and learn how to be a computer scientist or a doctor or whatever, you see. So you're going to do that to put chapatis on the table. You're going to go work. You're going to go to school and you're going to do your, you know, to get a house and transportation and take care of your family. But then we can't forget that responsibility that we have to ourselves to prevent another birth, whatever it may be, human, insect, whatever. Oh. Smarty, huh? It's nice to have geniuses around, you know, smart people. And typically the smart people are the younger ones, you know. I've found that. Have you noticed that? They're better at everything than we are. You know? So, yeah, this is easier to see.
Not with wisdom, Prabhu. Not with experience and wisdom. The younger ones.
If you can put the two together, learning plus experience and wisdom, you see. As far as wisdom other than book learning, you know, education for your job, that kind of thing. Wisdom, I mean, real wisdom is how not to take another birth. That's real wisdom. So we have to get that from someone who has that science, who knows that, you see. Otherwise, well, actually, we don't really have to go to someone who can give you that knowledge. We can always do the favorite activity that many people have. We can speculate. You know, we can think, oh, you know, I've read several books and I've seen lots of movies and I feel like it should be this way and yada, yada, like that, you know. So if you feel like you can speculate your way out of taking another birth, then who am I to stop you, you know? But best is, it's just like if you want to learn computer science, you go to a computer scientist, right? If you want to learn medicine, you know, Radha's going to go to medical school. She's going to be learning from doctors, right? So there really isn't speculation anywhere amongst intelligent people that want to really, truly, sincerely acquire knowledge. Who speculates? If you speculate your way through medical science and you speculate your way to being a doctor, only a fool would be in your waiting room to have you take care of them, you know? So an accountant, you know, if you're going to have an accountant, don't you want him to have been trained by a qualified accountant and be certified? So spiritual life is just like that. So austerities of body, speech, and mind, and this comes from Bhagavad Gita. From Krishna's own mouth, he tells us how to do this. This is from, isn't there some sort of a saying that they say in the Western world, from God's mouth to my ear, my mouth to God's ear? I don't know, something like that. But anyway, this is direct from the source of all sources. Krishna tells you this wisdom. He gives you his secrets. And so in Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter, 14th verse, 17, I should have told you earlier, shouldn't I? 1714. Sounds like a good year, doesn't it? There was probably a war in that year, the War of 1714, you know. Krishna says, austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and nonviolence. That is an austerity of the body. In other words, getting the body to do right, the correct things, to behave in the right way. You see, the correct activities for a body. You have to have, you may do many other things. You may go to work, you may go to school. You see, you may cut the grass, you know, so many things you may do. But this is key. You have to have, Krishna says, consisting of worship of the Supreme Lord. That's Dharma, isn't it? That's your Dharma. That's what the living entities do. We worship and love and exchange love with the Supreme Lord. Now, in the liberated stage, it's like, what happens if I don't take another birth? What if I don't have to come back to this material world where I have to deal with old age and disease and inflation and war, pestilence, crime? So if I'm going to go into that world of eternity, hey, what the heck am I going to do? Am I going to sit around on my iPad or my phone and, you know, and what do you play golf? Many people that I talk to that talk about going to heaven, practically all of them don't have a clue what they're going to do. They don't know. So you want to go to heaven, sir? Oh, yeah. Oh, gee whiz, when you get to heaven, what are you and God going to do? Oh, I don't know. Basically, they're trying to not go to the other place. They don't want to go to hell. So go to heaven, and it's completely unknown. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do there. So what are we going to do? The natural activity of the Jivatma. Worship and love of the Supreme God. And all of the parts and parcels of God, all of each other, are going to be together there with Krishna. And it's going to be a wonderful time. We'll do whatever it takes to please Krishna. We'll take prasadam with Krishna. We'll take the cows out to the field with Krishna. We'll joke with Krishna, you see. So that's a little bit better than taking another birth and having to go to college and fight for a job and fight traffic and disease, and you see. So it takes that austerity of the body. Prabhupada says in the purport, one should offer or learn to offer respect to God or to the demigods, the perfect qualified brahmanas and the spiritual master, and superiors like father, mother, or any person who is conversant with Vedic knowledge, sadhus. You see, one should practice cleansing oneself externally and internally, and he should learn to become simple in behavior. Wow, that's different from what we see in the world, isn't it? People don't strive to be simple, they strive to be sophisticated. You see, I don't want you to see me as simple. I want you to see me as sophisticated, complicated. You see, people want to be that. They're false ego because I have this persona that I want you to see. When you look at me, I want you to see me a certain way. So I cut my hair a certain way. I'll wear certain style of clothing, and I'll behave. I'll talk in a certain way. You ever notice that every generation that comes along, I think we've all noticed it, they all start their own type of language. They all have, like their own slang. I don't know if any of you were around when the hippies were here, but they had their own slang, and now the new age people have their own, way of talking. So we want to identify with a group, and I want within that group, I want to be like them, but yet different. You see, I want to establish myself as being similar to my group, but unique. You see, so I want to be like them, but yet be myself. So, in other words, I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am. I have to try to be somebody that I think I want you to see me as. So, in other words, you multiply that times 7.5 billion people doing that, and we're living in a world of illusion. So, wouldn't it be kind of nice if I actually found the real eternal me? That would be kind of nice. Then I could we hear people say it all the time, I could just be myself. We hear that all the time. Just be yourself. Well, what is myself? The self now? The self that I'm trying to be right now? Well, find that real eternal self, you see. That's the inner self. When you find that, you don't have to make any other adjustments. You just be your loving self, your loving part and parcel of Krishna. Any questions before I go to the next verse? Comments? Okay. The next verse, Bhagavad Gita 17:15, Krishna continues. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. Now, you're going to have to say other things. When you're in school, you're going to have to say other things than Vedic literature. When you're at work, you're going to have to say, if you're a doctor, you're going to have to say medical things. And if you're a computer scientist, you're going to have to say computer stuff, But regularly, you want to recite and remember and understand what the Vedas are saying. This is the education that gets you out of the material world, escaping this process of birth and death. You see? So regularly, in other words, what Krishna is saying is you need to control your speech. Now, one way to control our speech, I remember my friend Harijan Prabhu. We were at Gita Nagari together back in 1976. I lived there for a while, and he and his wife lived there, and there were several other old Prabhupada disciples living there. And they all had, there were a lot of people there at that particular time that had a lot of personal association with Srila Prabhupada. There were a lot of, so it was a very good place to be. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was there, just Aduna Swami was there, and Tripurari Swami. I mean, there were, so it was a great place. So I remember, Burijan, he was talking about if you want to control what you say, and we have to, then you have to control what goes in. You have to control hearing. I mean, he's from New York. So he talked like a New Yorker. He says, if you put garbage in your head, you're going to have garbage coming out of your mouth. Garbage in, garbage out. So he said Prabhupada told him that, but Prabhupada didn't have a New York accent. So what do I put into my mind? What do I put in here? Because it's going to come out of my mouth. If I'm always hearing dirty language, it's going to leak out. It's going to come out. If you associate with people who use foul language, pretty much you're going to do it too. If you associate with doctors, you're going to speak medical language and terms, and that's okay. And if you associate with sadhus, you're going to have Vedic knowledge going into your head. Vedic knowledge will come out of your mouth. It's very pleasant to speak this Shastra. Shastra is very pleasant to talk. It's pleasant to talk about what Krishna said. Wisdom, real wisdom. It's pleasant to say something that's highly, perfectly intelligent and that cannot be challenged. You see, cannot be challenged. It's true wisdom. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others. Well, sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes you have to give somebody the truth, but if you do, at least maybe you can soften it a little bit so they don't become agitated. We're looking out for them, you see. So we don't want to agitate each other. It's like today in the climate that I see today in North America is that you have basically, Radha and I were talking about this last night. And we were talking about it too, Ravindra and Mother Ritu. There seems to be just two sides to America right now. And they both think that they're right and the other side's completely wrong. But actually, that's not everybody. That's just a few loud speakers on the right and some loud talkers on the left. Most people are somewhere in the middle. Most people are pretty much in the middle, leaning a little conservative or leaning a little bit liberal. Yeah. You see, and then there's a few people that are really whacked out on both sides, and they make all the noise, And so they like to speak things that agitate the other ones. You have a different opinion than me. I need to put you down. This is very aggressive. This is violent. Who does that? That's not accepted. It didn't used to be accepted in most circles, but it is now. People are speaking in such a way that I want to agitate you. You did something, you said something I disagree with. I want to make you look like a complete fool. There used to be a saying in America that regarding the First Amendment, your right to speak, that there used to be people would say, especially around the 4th of July, you heard people say, I disagree with what you said, but I'm willing to die for your right to say it. You've heard that, haven't you? Yeah. Where did that go? Now it's, I'm sorry. Now it's like, no, you said something I disagree with. I didn't like what you said. Well, I'm going to show the world what an idiot you are. I want to ruin your life. If you have a business and you have a political opinion that I don't like, I want to boycott your business and get the whole world. I want to shut you down. Wow. You see? So you can see that the activities of today are not in keeping with the suggestions that Krishna makes. Don't speak agitating words. Who does that? Saintly persons, sadhus. They may have to give you the truth. It may be a little bit bitter, but because they care for you and how you feel, they'll learn the art of delivering the truth to you in such a way that it doesn't have to stab you in the heart or ruin your life. In other words, they're not aggressive and, they're looking out for you. They don't want to hurt you, you see. So, not agitating to others, and also regularly reciting the Vedas, speaking the Vedas. Instead of me speaking what I think, well, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the 17th chapter. So in other words, I go to my reservoir of knowledge when I'm dealing. If someone comes to you and needs some counseling, and people will need counseling from time to time, you see, sometimes people need your advice, your help. Are you going to tell them what you heard on the news or what you saw on the internet? Best if you can go to Bhagavad Gita. Oh, my dear person. That's okay that you feel that way. Why? Krishna says this. Where does he say that? Well, in the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 15th verse. Oh. So no, in other words, you didn't speculate. Your words have credibility. Wow. And you're speaking those credible words. You're giving me that credible opinion to help me. Not to dominate over me or force me to vote for your candidate or buy your product. You're actually looking out for me. You're trying to help me change my inner world by giving me real wisdom. The real wisdom is from the source of wisdom, God, you see. So therefore, for us to recite the Vedic literature, we have to read it and hear it from others. It's like you've got this nice Srimad Bhagavatam class. For those of you out there, they have this wonderful online Srimad Bhagavatam class. So Bhagavatam is bouncing around the people's heads in this community daily. How many times a week do you have Bhagavatam?
5 days.
5 days a week. Bhagavatam class 5 days a week. That's superb. You got to get a little bit from it, right? Maybe you don't remember every word that you hear, but it gets in there. You see, if garbage in equals garbage out, then absolute truth in equals absolute truth out. If you continue that, you get a real, true, pure fund of knowledge. May not help you in computer science or medicine or accounting. It will help you in dealing with your fellow living entities. It'll help you in dealing with you. The problem is between you and you. That's our problem. We need to get straight with ourselves. Once you feel that I'm okay, I'm part and parcel of Krishna. I don't have a thing to worry about. I'm Sat Chit Ananda. Sat, I'm eternal. Chit, I'm full of knowledge. Ananda, I am eternally blissful. I have an eternal, I have an eternal entitlement to that. You hear people talking, especially in the Western world, they talk of entitlements. That's your eternal entitlement. And it cannot be taken away from you. You're entitled to know everything. You're entitled to exist forever. And during that eternal existence, you're entitled to be fully blissful. Ananda. Ravindra, what's the English translation of Ananda?
Bliss. I would say bliss, yeah.
Huh?
That's the bliss.
Bliss.
Yeah. I mean, it's a mixture of Ananda is, I think it's a mixture of 3-4 different things.
Yeah.
Being content, blissful, and
Satisfied.
satisfied. Yeah.
Satisfied.
Satisfied with your life, with your everything around you.
Yeah.
You know.
And that includes the people.
And also fearless.
Fearless.
All of that combined is Ananda.
So there isn't an English word to sum it up, is
Just
there?
one, I would say there is just one single word. It's a combination of words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just being in a really great mood.
No.
Ananda means totally satisfied, totally peaceful, joyous, beyond description. Oh man, wait till the New Agers get a hold of this. You know, hey, Hare Krishna. You know how they like to use things like, what is it? I forget now. I'm glad I forgot. They're like, oh, awesome. You know, you ever notice people, somewhere in the last several years, people started to say awesome. You know, have an awesome day. Well, do they even know what the definition of awesome is? You know, if someone says, Judas, I like that shirt, that's awesome. Well, I'm sorry, that's a nice shirt, but it's not awesome. You know, it did not take my breath. It did not put me in a state of awe, you see. So wait till they get a hold of Ananda. Hey, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You see? So they don't understand it. They'll misuse it, misapply it. Because what they don't know. They've never tasted in this lifetime. They've never tasted Ananda. And yet, it is your entitlement. You should always feel bliss. You're entitled to always feel bliss. You see? The only thing that can take away this feeling of total bliss is our lack of consciousness as to who we are, what our position is with God, and who is this God? What is our relationship? We don't know Shastra. We don't associate with sadhus. And we don't have a guru. We need guru, sadhu, shastra. And then we get, you see? We need that in addition to everything else that we have. So Krishna goes on. These are those austerities of the mind that we were talking about. So we talked about austerities of the body, austerities of the speech, and now we're going into austerities of the mind. This is Bhagavad Gita 17:16. Krishna says, and satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. Why is that an austerity? Because I live in a troubled world and I have a troubled mind. So it's austere for me to to feel satisfaction? You bet. Why, that's the biggest austerity in the material world, to feel satisfied. Who's satisfied? Not one. You listen to news or read the headlines in the newspapers, nobody's satisfied. And if there is anybody satisfied, they don't make the news because nobody cares if you're satisfied. I'm agitated, and I want to tell you how I'm agitated, and you're agitated. You want to tell me how you're agitated, and you're telling me that I'm the cause of your agitation, or my party. People that believe the way I do, we're causing your agitation, and yet you've got an eternal entitlement from the Supreme Lord to never feel agitation. What's wrong? Whose fault is it? Is it yours? Is it yours? No, it's mine. I've got to own that. My consciousness. I don't regularly study the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita. You see, if we study Bhagavad Gita, I'm not talking, we're not going to intimidate you by saying, and Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam and all those books. No. There's 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita. Now, that's not a lot of verses to read. Okay, read a couple every day. That's not a lot, really, you see. So, but it will give you the intelligence to feel satisfaction. So the material world, who is satisfied? Maybe the snake is satisfied after he found a hole. Prabhupada talks about the mouse. He digs a hole, and the snake crawls in the hole, eats the mouse, and lives in the hole. So maybe the snake feels some satisfaction after he ate the mouse. And now he's going to curl up and take a nap in the mouse's hole. And that's going to work till he gets hungry again, or until it rains real hard and the water starts coming in the hole, you see. Or he feels some agitation. He starts wanting something else. He wants to go meet a female snake and have some little snakes. So that means he's going to have to get a bigger hole, a better snake job, you see. So even if we get this satisfaction, we only get to hold on to it for a little while before something else comes along. But yet that is your right. I would say birthright, but never was there a time when you were born. There was a time when you, the eternal living entity, took this body, and we call that birth, but you have existed forever. Krishna says, never was there a time when you did not exist. Never will there be a time when you will cease to be. You're unborn, you're eternal, you're undying, you see, and you have eternal rights that nobody can take away from you except your loss of consciousness, which we've all done that. We've lost our consciousness. We forgot somehow or other, when we came in contact with the material energy, we became bewildered by it. We start to believe, oh, this is my home. Oh, hey, this is me. We become bewildered. We start to believe that which is not. In other words, illusion becomes truth, perceived truth. All you have to do is reverse the process. No, this is not my home. This body is not me. I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am the same DNA as Krishna. It's like if you have a gold mine where they're taking gold out of the mine. What carat is the gold in the gold mine? 24 karat, pure gold. So if I go into that gold mine and I take a little tiny piece of that gold, what carat is that? It's 24 karat. So we're not as big as Krishna. We're not as vast, but we're the same stuff. He's 24 karat. You're 24 karat. Sometimes I say that to myself when I start to have a struggle. I just say to myself, you're 24 karat. You're not subject to this. You know, as far as the troubles of the material world, I don't have to put up with it. I'm 24 karat. You don't have to tolerate it. You see, you've got a place outside of all this agitation, and satisfaction belongs to you. It's your right. So, satisfaction, simplicity, live a simple life. Now, living a simple life applies differently to different people. You know, it's not like we have a cookie cutter where everybody has to be exactly the same. Why is that? How can I prove that? Because you have Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Simplicity to the Shudra may not be simplicity to the Kshatriya. The Kshatriya goes out and he wins wealth, and he's a defender, you see, protector. The Vaishya, he's in business. Why? He makes profits. He feeds the entire rest of the caste system. Simplicity to him may be different than simplicity to the Brahmin. Brahmin, he doesn't need anything. Give me Bhagavad Gita. You know, I need some donation because I need to buy some agarbatti for the deity. We're running low on ghee for puja. Can you help with ghee? You know? So it may seem like poverty to the Vaishya, but it's wealth to the Brahmin. You see? His simplicity is different. So it doesn't mean that everybody has to live with nothing. You see? The Brahmin may have practically nothing, but to him, that's wealth. He doesn't have to maintain it. You see, the Vaishya, those who are in business, well, they've got to struggle to maintain it. They need profit. So simple to them may appear differently than simplicity to the Brahman or simplicity to the Shudra. Isn't it? This is just wisdom. So now some people think, oh, when you tell them they need to live a simple life, a more simple life, they think, oh, no. You mean I can't have my iPad? You know, I can't get a new car. I need a new car. My other one's about to fall apart. No, I'm not saying any of that. Simplicity, when you know the Vedas, when you're a spiritual thinking person, simplicity will reach its own level. You'll know what is simple to you, and what's not. You'll know if you have wisdom, you see. So, does that make any sense? There's sometimes confusion about that. You mean you want everybody to be poverty stricken? No. That's not the way Varnashram is set up. There are Varnas and there are ashrams. And the Varnas are working together. And they're all very different, you see. So gravity. So gravity doesn't mean to be real stern and, you know, cross. And gravity means basically silent, unless there's something valuable to say. So the sages, they're silent until there's something necessary to say for your benefit. You know, you ever notice that you see people, maybe out sometimes in the store or something like that, I see people that just have to talk. You know, that you see people talking with each other and they're like trying to out-talk each other. And one person's talking and the other person's listening, but you can tell by the way they're acting, they're just waiting for the other guy to take a breath. So then they can start talking. You see? So this is Gramya Katha, village gossip, village talk. Oh, I don't know how to make it. You see, just talk. What's the value of your talking? I don't know. I'm just trying to out-talk you. I want to show you how I know more than you. You know? And I heard it before you heard it. But it's very pleasant when you see people that are talking Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha, we're discussing the Vedas. What did Krishna say? What did Krishna do? The greatness of Krishna. Krishna's devotees. You see, it's a whole different world. Prabhupada says in the purport here, to make the mind austere is to detach it from sense gratification. That does not mean that you eat only porridge and nothing else. Sense gratification. Don't eat to gratify your senses. Don't cook to gratify your senses. Cook to gratify Krishna's senses. Right, if you cook something for Krishna, it's going to be really nice, isn't it? You know? So therefore, this is gratification of spiritualized senses. You see, we want to taste, smell something that's offered to Krishna, taste what's offered to Krishna. We want to see things that remind us of Krishna. We want to hear Krishna Katha, Shastra. There's so many things other than that we're going to have to hear. We're going to be bombarded with things we're going to have to see and we're going to have to hear. So whenever I get the chance, let me see things that remind me of Krishna. Let me hear Shastra. See, be kind to one another and talk when you get the chance. You're not going to get the chance that often living in the busy world that you're in. You're not going to get the chance that often to give that blessing of Krishna Katha to each other. When you get a chance, grab it. You see? Then you have that nice exchange. All of your senses become engaged in devotional service. That is being detached from sense gratification. It doesn't mean that you're not going to enjoy. You're going to enjoy on a higher level. Everyone here is going to enjoy pretty well today, I'd say. We've had nice kirtan, nice association. We get to see these beautiful, wonderful people. We get to taste this delightful prasadam. It's going to be a good day, right? So we're not detached from enjoying. You'll enjoy. You're entitled to Ananda. That's enjoying happiness, satisfaction. You're entitled to that. Krishna will do nothing to take that away from you. All right, the last verse I'm going to read in Bhagavad Gita 17:17. Krishna says, this threefold austerities of the body, speech, and mind, performed with transcendental faith by men and women, not expecting material benefits, but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme, is called austerity in goodness. It puts you in the mode of goodness. Goodness it opens the door for pleasure. See, it paves the way. When you're in the mode of goodness, you can feel pleasure and you can give pleasure. You don't agitate people by being overly critical, or trying to be one up. One says, I do this. Oh yeah, well, I do that. See? No, that's not in the mode of goodness. That's in the mode of passion. You see? So, are there any questions or comments or criticisms or?
So, Prabhu, thank you for coming all over from Busan, Prabhu. Now, I would like to suggest, Prabhu, our kids are going to schools and colleges. They don't have that Gita wisdom, right? So, how they can interact, when the other side of people are totally acting against,
Well,
how they can be acting in a way, that they all can be.
Let's just analyze that. They're going to school. Who made the arrangement for them to go to school? I think their parents, right? So then who's going to make the arrangement for their spiritual education? Probably mom and dad. But I'm just saying. I mean, we can say, well, let's make it let's leave it up to the mayor or the governor. We can blame the governor or the president. Well, my children aren't getting a good spiritual education. Well, you can go down to the sheriff right now and complain. And he's going to say, I think that's your duty. So,
To prove that can also be we parents might try their best, but then the living entity, they may be carrying their own baggage. So we can do our part, but then the other side has to do their part too.
So then when we're dealing, especially when we're dealing with our children, well, and our spouses too, we have to use austerity of speech. You see, I've noticed this. Let's see, how does Krishna say this? Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing. You may have to chastise your children. You need to use words that are as pleasant as you can make it. In other words, you're going to have a hard heart-to-heart talk with your child once in a while. So you're going to have to be pretty kind, aren't you? Or else they're going to think, you're just treating me like a jerk. This isn't fair. So you've got to come off with austerity of speech. You really need to do this with everybody that you deal with. If you do this in the office, people are going to like you. Your neighbors are going to like you if you say things that are not agitating all the time, isn't it? So why not bring that in the house and talk with one another like that?
So I want to give you an example. It might not a real example, it's with me. I was about 27 when I came here. And I started working for a good company. And I had a boss, older guy, 27, he was older guy, maybe 60s, 70s almost. And he said, come to church with me. I'm just giving you a live example. He said, come to church with me. So we two people with the same last name, we went to church with him. And then after we listened to everything, I don't remember what he just said. He said, I would love for you to be a Christian. So what I told him, I said, no way. He stopped right there. Another guy, we left. Another guy said, hey, for the sake of this, he's our boss, you should say yes. I said, why should I,
Yeah.
So it stayed that way that you have to have that kind of confidence in you. when you go to there, like I go, she lived here, she knows everything. So what we came from different country, didn't know anything, didn't speak good English, even still we don't speak good English. So, but it you have to think about yourself. You know? Yeah, you
Well-
should be proud of what you are.
Even more important than the words you say
Yeah,
is the mood in which you say it.
yeah.
No.
That's why.
So probably your expression was saying, thank you, but no.
Yeah. No, I am kind of a little bit rude also. I'm telling you. I'm not.
You know what? You had a right to be a little bit. Because here he's trying
So,
to.
but after that, he said, "Leave, I should not have said to you." He told me that older guy, you know. He was a very senior guy, well-known guy in the company. I have forgot his name. He was man, big guy. So I'm just saying that's what I'm saying. It's you have to have faith what you are. Like I never felt that way in this country since I'm here for 50 years now. I never felt that way. So I'm burdened on somebody's trying to say me this and never. I have that kind of feeling, you know. You need to prove from inside everything, you know.
Yeah.
That's because we come from India, which is a free country. We've been the same there and we've been the same here. So there's nothing much different except these people are more luxurious here. Anything else?
And we you people came later, we came 50 years back, things were different here too, much different.
Yeah.
Yes, it's.
We made I'm going to be say I feel confident we may pave the way for our generation coming up. That's what is happening.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Exactly. I find it interesting that you come from a free country, India, to a free country, America,
Yeah.
which was based on, one of the things was freedom of religion.
Yeah, that's what it is
And
here.
yet I want to twist your arm to become my religion.
Yeah.
You know, in other words, that isn't that kind of odd?
Yeah.
So this is the world of illusion.
Like Swamiji said, yeah, go ahead.
I'm so much in false ego that I believe I'm better than you.
Yeah.
My religion is better than yours. As a matter of fact, I don't even recognize yours as even being a religion. Mine is the only. You see what I mean? This is false ego. You see, it's illusion.
Like Swamiji said in the beginning, there are few people in left or right, the crazy people. There may not be 1% of people that made the whole noise. You know?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So,
Good.
Hang on just a minute, Kirtaneshwar.
I kind of like the comment that you said, like what you put into your brain is what you talk out, or like how you feel inside of you, right?
Yeah.
So I have been like reading Bhagavad Gita last 1.5 years. I kind of held back in the last few months and trying to understand the consciousness world. 1 year, 1.5 years. The thing that like I'm reading about the brain at the same time, reading about like Bhagavad Gita.
Mhm.
So recently when I was reading a book called Light Wide, like how the brain works. So like as per that, everybody gone with the empty brain in this world. And then they have been hearing a lot of things last 15 years, which may not be true or which may not be relevant for developing my consciousness, or like for hearing the truth. How do I unlearn the bad things which are already accumulated in my brain and to learn towards like consciousness world?
Krishna says, time I am, destroyer of worlds. Oh, eternal. So time, Krishna, time is Krishna. So it destroys the world. it will also destroy this thought. If you put enough good, enough Krishna, enough Vedic knowledge in your mind, it will push out the rest. In time, it'll fade away. You may remember it years later, some nonsense that you heard before, but now you see it in a different perspective, because when you first heard the nonsense, you probably thought, oh, this is true. You fell for the illusion.
Yeah, I wanted to get rid of the.
It's like if somebody pulls a joke on you. Well, it's harder to pull the joke on you the second time, right? So the material world pulled a joke on you. It tricked you. And here you are, like I was talking with Radha last night about believing in Santa Claus. You know, they do that in America. They teach their kids, well, there's this old man, he lives in the North Pole. If you're good and if you obey me, then he'll bring you gifts. And the kids say, oh, that sounds great. So I'll be good. I'll mind my mommy and daddy. And then I get good stuff. Mom and dad they go to Walmart or somewhere, Target, and they buy the gifts and they put it under the tree. You don't still believe in Santa Claus, do you? Hope I'm not wrecking this for anybody. Well, I'm afraid one of you is going to say, oh, what? There's no Santa Claus? But see, then you found out. Maybe not you, but this is what happens to people. They're like, huh? Maybe around 5 or 6 years old. Because their older brother, or somebody, an older kid on the block is going to say, Santa Claus? There's no Santa Claus. Huh? Well, now how do you get that child to believe in Santa Claus again? Nobody does that. Nobody finds out there is no Santa Claus and then later on goes back to, there is. So you replace the untruth with the truth. And then the untruth, you remember the wording of it, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's what the Maya comes into the picture, right?
Like you're pushing, as Krishna fills the brain, Maya gets pushed out.
Yeah, that's where like I think that
You start dealing with that which is instead of that which appears to be, but really isn't.
I feel like I'm at a stage where I know there is no Santa Claus, but pretending there is a Santa Claus to get the gifts from my parents.
Yeah. Hey, and this is a good observation. A lot of people, they want to kind of maybe pretend that maybe this is real. Maybe I can accumulate enough wealth that I'll have Ananda. Why, I'll be satisfied. I have great, endless pleasure. Who does that? Who's the richest guy now? Elon Musk. All right. Does he seem like he's in the state of Ananda? What about Bezos? He just had the most expensive divorce in the history of the planet. It cost him like $70 billion. I don't think he's having a perfect life. You see? But sometimes we want to convince ourselves that it will work. There really is a Santa Claus. I can work, get rich. Why, I can own all of Knox County. Then I'm going to achieve Ananda. Maybe not. Maybe I need Anderson County too. You see how about the whole state of Tennessee? Then I'll feel that great pleasure. So, yeah, once in a while, we kind of want to believe it. But if we have enough Gita wisdom, enough Shastra, and if we associate with enough sadhus, and we are intimate with our guru, sharing our thoughts with the spiritual master, then we're not going to go there. That Maya is not going to influence us. And if Maya does, it's only going to be for a short time, short distance. You know.
Prabhu, so
Oh, hold on. Hold that. Kirtaneshwar Garanga, did you have, he's been waiting. Did you have a question?
Hare Krishna Gurudev. Yeah, it's about gravity. It's sometimes it's easy to understand these concepts in theory, but then we find that, like even like every day, sometimes I say I'm going to be more brave today, or I'm going to be more, example, I'm going to take less prasadam in the morning. But then, by the time breakfast comes, I take the same amount of prasadam I always take. So how do we, consciously develop qualities? I mean, because we know they're the austerities, but developing them, or practically doing them is difficult.
Say again? What was that last?
If you mute your microphone while I speak, it'll come clearer.
How do I mute the microphone?
Oh, space bar should do it.
Oh,
The space bar should do it.
how's that?
Just the
Yeah.
sleep.
So, how do we develop gratitude? How do we develop simplicity?
We develop it by practicing it. So, and you're already trying, you're already on the path because you're aware. Tomorrow I'm gonna, what you're trying to do is you're in that 21-day period. You're trying to start a new habit. So you're trying to eat less for breakfast. So maybe you're not doing so well at it yet. But one day you're gonna you're gonna eat less. Then the next day you may not, but then the next day and the next day you may actually do it. So little by little, as long as you're aware and you've set a goal and you're sincere about it, you will achieve it. Now, try doing that. I mean, we all have reasons why we do things, but try doing that as an offering to Guru and Krishna. I want to eat less. What's your reason? Because I want to be more handsome? That's kind of hard to offer to Guru and Krishna. You see what I mean? Does that make any sense? Why? Why do I want? I want better health. All right. Why do I want better health? I want to do that as an offering to Guru and Krishna. I want to increase my service. I want to maintain my service. I mean, it's like so many people nowadays go to yoga. Why do they go to yoga? They want to feel good. I want some sense gratification. There's really no evidence that yoga is going to make me feel good, except what I see around me. Well, when there's people that do yoga, they're trim and they can stretch. Why? I'll bet they feel good. Maybe they do. But if you want to improve your health and feeling good in such a way that you can perform your service better as an offering to Guru and Krishna, now the whole thing is purified. That's gravity. Not being affected by the whims of the material world. You see, so many people are, they're attracted to yoga. How many people do you think go to yoga for spiritual development? However, that is the purpose of yoga, is it not? I mean, you people are from India. You know what yoga is meant for.
Yeah. Some yoga teachers now in the United States, they have started stressing on that part.
Some of them have.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them, we may inquire, hey, could we give a Bhagavad Gita class to your yoga group? And they say, no, that's too religious. Well, yoga is yoking or union with the supreme. I'd say that's kind of religious, wouldn't you say? No, we want to feel good. I want to look better.
Yoga.
Can you
and
imagine
religion-
if I'm as handsome as Kirtaneshwar or as handsome as Nick and feel really good, how that's going to help my sex life?
In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, yoga karmasu kaushala. From that, I take it that yoga is the skills of doing everything, like
Yeah,
not just one thing, not just
not just that one
exercise,
thing.
but everything.
Yeah.
But yoga really is to get the body, mind, and the soul in union with the Lord. That is the true name. True meaning of yoga is everything: body, mind, soul, and intelligence. Everything.
Not
aligned
just-
with the Lord.
Not just the body.
Not just the body.
Not just the body.
That's what it says.
Did that answer your
Yoga
question?
in sense is that.
Do you have more?
It's there somewhere in
Yeah.
yoga. Yoga of intelligence, yoga of
There's one chapter in Bhagavad Gita
Yeah.
on yoga.
yoga
Yeah.
of
Yeah, that was a great answer. Also, yoga and religion mean the exact same thing. Religion means religare, which means to relink, to
Right.
reconnect with God.
That word religion means the same thing as the word yoga.
correct.
Exactly. Religare, to relink.
It says, yeah, so it has nothing to do with feeling good. That may be a side effect. If you practice yoga, if you learn breathing, sitting, yam, niyam, if you learn that, well, you will feel better. Most of that feel better is going to come from within you because you've helped change your inner world, not just your, yeah. So, Jagdish, did you have a?
Yeah, I want to make a point. In this Bhagavad Gita for a long time, being with all the newcomers, I was also newcomer, but I came a little bit with a better background from North Carolina, right? But the only way we can get spiritual knowledge and true realization is only service, pure service to Guru, to someone, devotees. There's no other way. Because a lot of people I've seen, at this sound, I've interacted, they're not understood. It's going to be like a circle, we can read Bhagavad Gita, but we really have to go deep understanding.
Well, and for that, we need that complete circle, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. So I'm going to study Shastra. So what will prevent me from speculating what it says? I need to go to Guru. Let's include the sadhus, others that have this knowledge. You see? Oh, now I can get something really genuine. Or else I might have a tendency to speculate if I do it on my own. Prabhupada has in Bhagavad Gita, in his Bhagavad Gita as it is, Prabhupada put all of himself into these purports. So you can read a verse, and then before you speculate, the pure devotee will tell you what that verse says for your benefit. Not trying to sell you something or promote some political platform or anything. This is the explanation, you see, of what this says. It's beyond speculation, you see. So in Bhagavad Gita as it is, you get Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Prabhupada is giving you the Shastra, he's giving you the Sadhu, and he has so many disciples as gurus. He'll become your Shiksha Guru and set the stage for you to get Diksha Guru. What a service, huh? I mean, in other words, he's made it very easy. We just have to grab it and run with it. Take it and do it. That's it. At our own pace. You know, it's not like someone says, you're not reading enough. You need to advance quicker. No, this is between you, Guru, and Krishna. How fast do you want to get out of illusion? How fast do you want to gain this absolute knowledge? That's up to you. You see, you have free will. Nobody has the right to remove your free will. Krishna would never remove your free will. Yes, Mother?
Probably I always had in my mind thinking this way. We talk about gurus, Shastra we can study our own. But if I don't have guru, what is the other way I can spiritually enlighten myself? No other way.
Sadhus. You have to associate with spiritual people. So then you have the Shastra, you have the sadhus. So then why would Krishna, that shows sincerity. You're associating with the devotees, you're studying the Shastra. So with that kind of sincerity, why would Krishna not send a guru? It's not like Krishna is absent-minded. You know, he's forgetful or he's not paying any attention to you. It's like President Biden probably doesn't know that any of us exist. Krishna knows all of his parts and parcels exist. He knows you on a totally personal level. You see, he knows inside and out. So when that sincerity, when it starts to sprout, you get just a little sprout of sincerity, Krishna will send more sadhus, more Shastra. He will send the guru. He'll take care of you. You don't have to worry about it. All it takes is that little bit of sincerity. That says, Krishna says, okay, I've got a plan for you. Should you choose to accept it? All right, I think I've talked long enough. Anybody else have anything to say? All right. Thank you all so much for joining in. Tomorrow we're going to South Carolina. So we're going to drive 4 hours. Yeah, I said 4. 4 hours across the mountains and down into South Carolina to Greenville, South Carolina. Then we're going to come back. So program starts at 2 o'clock.
2 to 5.
2 o'clock Eastern time, and with kirtan, and then
We'll have on Zoom too,
we'll have kirtan.
Drive back tomorrow night or?
Yeah,
Where are you going?
coming back tomorrow night. We're going to have kirtan. We're going to have a class. Then we're going to have prasadam. And if you tune in on Zoom, we'll show you the prasadam. You can even see us eat it. Ooh, so good. As I'm enjoying, you are enjoying. So, all right. Thank you all so much. Good to see you, Nick. Good to see you all. Hare Krishna, all glories to Sri Prabhu.
So we'll just Lakshmi prayer and Prashadam prayer, and then put everything is.
Shut us off.
Yeah.